Okay, so in this video, I've actually felt like this is necessary to be talking about because this is a real big threat to the Asian community and that stuff, and this needs to really stop. And what's really disturbing what was on YouTube was from a news source called KBRC News, and what was in that video was very, very disturbing. In fact, yeah, it had something to do with racism, but it also had to do something with the Asian hate here that is going on here in America. So, let me, just go ahead and dive into what was reported. So, two black women of the murder, or no, it's no murder. It was more of like, beating up an Asian woman of a beauty supply store, and one of the suspects, Keandra Young, is facing a hate crime charge for punching Jung Kim, the owner of the beauty supply store, an Asian girl, which a lot of beauty supply stores are run by Asian Americans and that stuff, and, you know, spas and that stuff. Most of the Chinese restaurants are owned by Asian Americans and that stuff. Anyway, she punched this girl in the nose and the face, leaved her bloodied and bruised and that stuff. And this all started back in, well, it was reported on March 18th, or 17th, excuse me. And the son of the owner really wants these two women, Keandra Young and Dakisha Williams, to actually be punished for the crime on the owner of the beauty supply store. The son really wants these two to actually face jail time. And the report says that the expected jail time for these women should be 180 days. Approximately, that would be like almost like a year and maybe 20 days. There are 165 days in a year. And then you do the math. That would be like an extra 15 days out of 1 year. So, that would, that's pretty much like a short time compared to if you committed like any other crime. But, yeah. This is a real big problem. The new, Asian Americans that come into the United States, because it doesn't matter what the situation is. It could be Um, it could be they're foreign a foreign Chinese exchange student, which I'm sure a lot of families have foreign Chinese exchange students on, even when they hold, like, Chinese auctions, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Imagine they come to the U.S. because they need to complete, like, school, or here in the United States in order to actually attend college in their country. Yeah. Imagine you, you get on the plane, you arrive at the airport of the, place that you were, told to actually be at across the United States or the whole world. Well, the United States especially, because this is where the Asian hate crimes are, you know, very high, I should say. So, I mean, you could be more safe if you were an Asian person and you flew to another country and that stuff, because I'm pretty sure that a lot of other countries don't have this Asian hate like the United States does. But let me get at what I really want to say. You're here in America. You are told to go to school in the U.S. and that stuff. Imagine getting off of the plane from the airport, and what happens is somebody actually, you walk by somebody in the airport that probably like threatened to beat you up because you're an Asian, and you know, the next thing you feel is very unsafe that you flew to the United States because Asian hate actually exists here, and they're like, you feel like, why did they want me to come to the United States? Like, why is there, like, when I come here and that stuff, and I literally feel like not very secure and that stuff. Well, it's because the idiots that wanted to start the Asian hate in the first place and that stuff, well, you're pretty bad. If you literally want to just, you know, start going around and killing, or, I mean, not killing, but, you know, beat up, I don't care what it is, black people or Asian Americans, yeah, that's, pretty sad. Really sad, really. It's literally saying you don't care who the person is and that stuff. And it also gives that message that I don't care who you are and that stuff. I could beat up whoever I want. And that stuff. Now, literally, I'm not gonna go and, like, beat up people because because it's literally a crime. And even in high school, they don't tolerate that. You could get yourself, like, expelled from school, and you possibly some very serious consequences. And, you know, it could be, it could be taken very seriously. Nobody messes around with that. Nobody messes around when you do something very, very serious to harm another person. The consequences can be very, severe. And you could, be expelled from school and be taken to jail. And the jail time that, or it depends on whatever age you are. Like, the age for people to be going to jail is 18 and over, maybe 21 and over. But other than that, you could possibly, if you're a kid and you go beat up whoever it is you'd want and that stuff, you could actually go to juvie, which is like a place for minors to go if they behave in a really, really bad, negative manner. That could count as a, if you commit like a crime and you're a child and that stuff, then you could obviously go to a group home and you'd be told that you need to get some really serious help. Because when you reach that age to where you actually are able to be charged and sent to jail for committing the Asian hate crimes and the racism, they're not going to give you a fun time over there in jail. Literally. Obviously, obviously, you'd have, lots of, days eating in the mess hall, which I would assume that the food over there just doesn't taste that good, because well, it wouldn't be a fun time over there. Now, I'm actually getting off topic what I'm really trying to say here in this video. But, yeah, because Asian crime, or, Asian hate is in here in America, I would not be, very surprised if people, like, literally gone up to, Asian workers of Chinese restaurants, spas, whatever it is, and that stuff, and just, like, literally start beating them up because of, well, they're Asian. And, you know, not only would you get charged for, you know, Asian hate, but you would also, if it was, physical assault, that you were using on somebody, I imagine the charges would probably add up. But yeah, literally, the Asian Americans here that live here in the United States have to fear for their life because if there's somebody like these women who attacked Jung Kim of the owner of the beauty supply store, yeah, these were actually black women attacking an Asian American, and they admit that well, it was kind of like a claim that, oh, it wasn't about you know, angry black women just attacking people and that stuff. They made those false claims that they never intended this and that stuff, and it was a big stupid excuse. They literally wanted to say that this was totally appropriate what they did and that stuff, and they think that they should not be going to jail for this. I'm sorry. You break the law. You literally, you literally don't get to pick and choose whether you go to jail when you do something bad. That's just how it is. That's just how it is. You literally think that you can just go ahead and make the newly Asian Americans that come to America and that stuff and think you can just go and just beat whoever it is you want? I'm not talking about just beating up Asian Americans. I'm talking about, like, beating up people of your opposite race as well. The murder of George Floyd, a white cop murdered a black man. Really put his foot on the guy's neck and left it there for about 9 minutes or 9 seconds. And that stuff. And this happened back in 2020. And the man, Derek Chauvin, has been committed with, has been found guilty because of not just racism, but because murder is murder. And racism doesn't buy the excuse that, well, I had the right to do whatever I did because of, you know, racism. No, that's not how it goes. When somebody violates the law, or, you know, just plain or just plain think that just because you're in America, you can just plain do whatever you want and that stuff, and not have to pay a price for it, that stuff, you got that wrong thinking. And by the way, I also wanted to point out that, yeah, if you're playing Fortnite and that stuff, and you got that thinking that, oh, I go ahead and I just, when I make, really big killing streaks and that stuff, to just think it's okay for, you know, to literally, go out there and, you know, commit a mass murder, that stuff, and you want to confuse virtual reality with reality and that stuff, that's pretty messed up. The people who are committing these hate crimes and that stuff, are literally going to have some really big consequences. This needs to stop. And you're making the people feel, well, Asian Americans feel very, very, not safe here. And it needs to end. Krista Yang, the co-host of Nintendo Minute with Kit, yeah, she doesn't feel very safe here in America and that stuff. And there is one reason behind that. This Asian hate. And it really needs to stop. Now imagine you an Asian American, you wake up at the end of the day, like the next day, and you receive like some kind of threatening text message from somebody random or whoever it is, and that says, I'm going to find where you live and come down and murder you. And then you obviously have to, like, fear for your life because of you're Asian American and that stuff. They don't feel really safe here in America and that stuff. And it's because of those people who are devoted to promote this Asian hate and racism. It's a real big problem, and somebody needs to address. And when you get reported for beating up somebody because of Asian hate or racism and that stuff, yeah, the law's not gonna mess around with that. Hate has no home here. And the more that these Asian come into America and that stuff, just remember, you're being a threat, a real big threat to their safety, that stuff, and it needs to stop. As much as racism, it all needs to stop. And I couldn't imagine if somebody started, going up and beating Asian Americans at, Chinese restaurants, spas, beauty supply stores, or working part-time at amusement parks and that stuff. You're a real big threat to safety. It needs to end. And you're not making America any safer than promoting this Asian hate and racism here in America. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please comment, like, and subscribe to the channel of Charles Morrison. Hopefully, this Asian hate and racism can end. Somebody needs to be speaking out about this and that stuff. We can't stay silent about it. And this is one of the reasons why I made this video. Please have the good rest of your day, and I will see you all in the next video.